Hey guys, this is Spencer with EGM. I am here with Matt Buchholtz, and we just got done playing Act 2-1 and 2-2 of Quantum Break. Yeah, so that's what we're here to talk about. It is a lot different than the first act.
It's so different than the first act. Like, first act was fun, and you're kind of getting, like, all the exposition, but at the same time, you're like, what's happening? And in Act 2, you're just like, all right, things are, like, everything I just learned, gonna be completely different. And I liked that a lot.
Yeah, there's like a huge tonal shift where the first act, you're kind of running around. What's this? You know, what's happening? Who's this guy? But then the second act really starts to feel like Alan Wake-like, you know?
Yeah, like, it definitely had that vibe, but with, like, instead of being so, like, scary and, like, horror-driven, more of, like, that sci-fi vibe where you're like, oh, there's some, like, math here.
Yeah. I need to, like, do some quantum thinking.
Yeah, there's some time science.
Yeah. Also, something we got in the second act is new powers.
Yeah, we did.
We got a new power.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
I think it's the most brutal power of all time.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, disturbing to me when I think about it. That's Time Blast. And Time Blast basically, like, just separates people from time. So it's, you, like, charge it up, it's like, out. And then they're just fractured in time.
Yeah, and you see, like, it's a really neat effect where they're, like, stuttering and kind of, shaking, and then they just fall to the ground dead. It's sort of disturbing. You're definitely right. But also there's some new enemies that are immune to a couple of your time powers.
Right. Well, the Monarch Company has these different striker sort of characters that can come in, and they have packs that make them immune to, like, the time stops. So, like, while time is stopped, they can still move, and then they kind of have, like, your similar powers. So they can do, like, the dashing and, like, move around really fast and, like, teleport almost.
Yeah, and so they can move around during stutters, and it's so cool because when you kill them in the stutter, their body, like, suddenly freezes in whatever pose they're in. So if you blow their pack is, like, exploding, and they're just stuck there floating, and it's just a really interesting way to kind of paint the battlefield, you know, instead of, like, a bunch of bodies lying there.
Talking about painting, like, the colors in that. Like, every time that it's, like, frozen in time, everything's kind of blue. And all the enemies have this, like, goldenrod sort of color, like, almost like an orange. And it's so cool seeing those explosions just, like, tracing out. And it's just kind of like your battleground's just colored with all these spots.
Yeah, and something else that's really interesting is the set pieces in it are getting a lot more intricate and a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Like the first act, we kind of saw a couple, like the library or whatever, but now it's like these huge warehouses that are sort of just playgrounds for your time powers that you can drop these, like, slats of wood on enemies and then rewind time and then drop it again. Or you can, like, blow up barrels and then rewind time and then blow up the barrel again.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and in the second act, I mean, you get, like, some, like you were saying, the set pieces are just amazing. Like, in particular, there's this whole, like, shipyard sort of scene, and it is by far my favorite part of the game so far.
Yeah.
And you have to, like, figure out how to traverse everything, and, you know, the whole time, like, time is moving back and forth, and so, like, if you move to the wrong place, like, time might speed forward and, like, you'll die because something fell on you. Or, you know, you have to, like, wait for time to, like, flip back so you can hop on something, and there's this constant sense of, like, I need to be moving, but you're also incredibly aware that, like, time is just shuddering all over the place.
Yeah, it's such a neat scene to see these, like, crates come crashing down and then kind of rewind and crash down, and like, you're kind of in awe, but also you're like, how am I going to get through this? The game is becoming more clear in the way that it's built as well. It has three kind of different styles to it. You've got your action sections where you're going around, you're throwing out bubbles, shooting people and stuff. You've got kind of these puzzle segments where you can rewind time kind of strategically to build platforms and stuff like that to get around. And also there's, like, little hunt for the switch and rewind time to find the switch kind of stuff. And there's also platformer sections, which is kind of an interesting choice for a third-person shooter.
Yeah, I mean, like, you definitely find, like, there are times where you're like, I know I've jumped this high before and I can't do it now, or like, why am I just like kicking this wall?
Yes, that happens pretty often.
Or like, it's so cinematic the entire game that, you know, you might be used to like in other kind of adventure style games tighter controls, and then this one the camera will like swing to try and make it look nicer, and you end up like jumping off, you know, a platform or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
I think that about covers it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Act 2, pretty great.
Yeah, it's a huge change from the first one. The first one I was like, this is a good game, this is fun. But the second one was like, I want to talk about this now, you know?
Yeah. So speaking of talking about it, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Make sure to check out our first video as well covering Act 1. We can't tell you anything about Act 3, but we've both seen it.
Yeah, it's... Oh, oops. That means nothing.
And so make sure to like, subscribe, do all that. Go to egmnow.com for all your news, previews, reviews, everything about video games. We write tons of stories there, so do it for us. And follow us on Twitter at EGMNow. Thanks for watching. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.